Secretaries of India to welcome Sadhguru with an Ankavastram and deliver a few words.
नहीं इधर तक तो आ रहा है, इधर से लाइव नहीं हो रहा।
ओके
Namaskaram and friends, welcome you all to God's own land, the state of Kerala. Friends, our Upanishad says, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyaya Mahamada, Matra Devu Bhava, Pitra Devu Bhava, Acharya Devu Bhava, Achit Devu Bhava. What it means? Speak the truth, abide by the law. This is what our motto is. Friends, never idle in your studies. Know your mother to be like a know your father to be like a God. Know your teacher to be like a God. Know your guest to be like a God. Friends, today we have the physical form of divine power, the physical form of divine Guru, or I may say, Dev himself come to grace our occasion as grace for a Friends, on behalf of all the members of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, all the students of my institute, and all other stakeholders, friends, I am honored to welcome the true sadhu, yogi, visionary, mystic, and the friends, the list is very long to define Honorable Sadhguru. So friends, please give him a big round of applause and welcome him. In the opening plenary of Golden Jubilee National Convention of Company Secretaries on the theme Company Secretary Shaping New India 2022 through Good Governance. Friends, at this occasion, my special thanks to our past President, Madam Priti Malhotra, my mentor, I say, for supporting this convention and making the presence of divine power security possible. Lastly, please to know that our institute, our members, our students, we are supporting the green initiatives. We have we launched many initiatives to save water, to respect the nature, and following the same, this national convention, we are following the Green Protocol guidelines, and the entire national convention is dedicated on the Green Protocol. So friends, once again, with these words, I am thankful to Honorable Sadhguru, and on behalf of all the fraternity, I would like to welcome. Thank you so much, sir, for your benign presence. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, ICSI has formed a core group to look into the grey areas and functioning of charitable entities and propose a code for charity governance. The code envisages 9 principles which touches upon different activities of these entities and aims to provide the governance mechanism. This code will fill along overdue gap in their governance to ensure that they remain true to their purpose and achieve the ultimate goal of empowering national governance. With this background, let's now welcome CS P.D. Malhotra, past President, to arrange for the release of the Code for Charity Governance. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause. Here we have the Code for Charity Governance released by Sadhguru. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Sadhguruji.
Okay, now.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is a moment which we all were waiting for. We have the special address by Sadhguru. Sadhguruji, we are highly excited and enthusiastic to hear from you.
remotely.
Thank you.
We are doing from remote. Remote से कर रहे हैं.
अभी तो आ रहा है, पहले ऑफ किया ना.
अभी करेक्ट है चल रहा था, वो लोग ऑफ किए बोल के इधर इंटरप्ट
नहीं चल रहा है तो सब वो चेक करके चल रहा है. इधर आ गया, फेस में से जाना चाहिए. हाँ इधर आ. അതിന്റെ ലാപ്പിൽ വരുന്നുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ ഇതിന് പോകുന്നില്ല സാധനം. ഇല്ല ഇല്ല, നെറ്റ് കണക്ഷൻ ഒക്കെ ഓക്കെയാണ്. കണക്ഷൻ ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ? കണക്ഷൻ ഓക്കെയാണ്. ഇതിൽ പോയിട്ട് മറ്റേ സ്പീഡ് ഒന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ.
speed?
I thought we're not in talking terms. For a nation which is on the threshold of a major economic possibility, a nation
20 Mbps.
which
Upload 20 or download 20?
ago was the most vibrant economy in the planet,
അതിനോട്ട് അവിടെ ചെയ്യുവാണോ?
अभी इसका भी निकाल दिया कहीं शेयर होगा बोल के.
where just the whole world wanted to come here.
ഞാൻ അറിഞ്ഞിട്ട് അല്ല വിളിച്ചത്, ഞാൻ എന്റെ ഐതറിനെ വിളിച്ചത്.
I don't want to go into the reasons why it became the way it became.
മോണിറ്റർ വോളിയം
It
കുറച്ച്.
definitely became one of the
Monitor.
poorest countries on the planet.
മോണിറ്റർ
Still we are among the most malnourished countries on the planet. 60% of India's population is, even the skeletal system is not going full size. We have the highest number of malnourished children in the world, but we are on the threshold of a major economic unfolding. I am using the word unfolding because a nation of immense talent did not find the kind of success it should have found for large-scale operations. It's only now we are getting into that mode, because in 1947, when we got independence, we were left without any businesses, without industry, without infrastructure, without education.
Hello?
And above all, the nation was broken into three pieces. Over 500,000 people killed, over 6 million people migrating, an enormous stress for the nation without any infrastructure. And the average life expectancy of an Indian was 28 years in 1947. In these 70 years, today the average life expectancy is 66, which is a phenomenal achievement for any nation. So first 50 years, we went into a survival mode. We did whatever we did to somehow survive and keep it going. Well, survive we did. A lot of pain, of course. But we did survive as a nation. Many nations which got independence about the same time have become, not so much of nations. They are broken down in many ways. But this nation, with all its complexities, with tremendous sense of diversity, we have still survived. And first 50 years went into this survival mode. The last 20 years have been developmental mode.
Now we are on the threshold of a major possibility. People always ask me, Sadhguru, when will India become a superpower? I keep telling them, I don't want India to be a superpower. That is not the ethos of this nation. We don't want to be a power over anybody. We just want to be super.
Hello?
We want India to be super, not a superpower. Because that has never been the culture of this nation. This is big cameras are recording and it will be on the website immediately.
അതവര് കണ്ടതാണ്, അവര് തന്നെയാണ് അതിന്റെ കൺട്രോളിൽ ആരും പറഞ്ഞത്. അതവര് കണ്ടത്, അവർക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ അവർക്ക് ഇത് പോയി ചേട്ടാ ചോദിച്ചോണ്ട്
for thousands of years, this has been a nation and a culture where wisdom means that people look east. It's not a new thing. Wherever, if people need an inner guidance, they look east. When economic well-being is done with in the world, let's say in another 25 years or 50 years, largely all the populations on the planet find their necessary economic well-being. Economic well-being does not mean imitating United States of America. It means that everybody is well-fed, everybody is able to find their full potential in their life, and they're living peacefully and joyfully within themselves and around themselves. This is all a human being has to look for. And the peaks of human well-being should come from within. If you try to achieve the peaks outside, we will rip the planet apart, which we are doing already in a big way. So now we are at the threshold of this economic possibility in this country, and it is very important not for this nation and the people of this nation, but for the world. For the rest of the world, it's very important that when the unfolding of India's economy happens, because the talent has always been there, the intellect has always been there, the capability has always been there, it's lack of systems and leadership which has not allowed it to happen. For the first time, we have put those systems into place, and we have determined leadership which wants to take it there, and Bharat is beginning to beat in people's hearts once again. Because it's important. A nation is not some God-given thing. It is just an idea. It's an idea that we enshrine in our hearts and make it a sacred process. It's our making. People keep asking me, Sadhguru, all this emotion about nation is needed. Should we really stand up for our national anthem? These questions are asked. What I am asking you is, a family of 4 people if you are, can you make an antiseptic family without investing your emotion? Can your wife, your husband, your children, will they stay with you, I am asking? Hello? Without investing your emotions, can you build a family? Then how can you build a nation? How can you build a nation if you do not invest your emotions? Now, today, even today, it's happening that there are soldiers who are standing on the border, that they have enough emotion that they are willing to die for this idea of a nation. If there is no emotion, how do you create a nation? Human beings, when the making of a human being, nationhood is very much in the making of a human being, emotion is very much a part of who we are. And in the making of a nation, just a large assembly of human beings, emotion is still very much a part of that. If there is no emotion, you can't really create nations. Now, all of you, this particular profession, which has to play, I don't know to what extent your roles have been made use of till now, but a time has come when the necessary systems become very important. Not just individual enterprise, not just individual genius which flowered here and there, to build a business system into the country where every kind of person can prosper, where every kind of person can operate where there are not too many surprises on a daily basis, that it takes a genius to handle these things. That's your job, to create systems of compliance where just about anybody who reads this book knows how to run a business in this country. Right now, you got to be a genius to run a business in this country, because there are not enough systems, enforceable systems, where everybody is operating out of his own individual enterprise and genius. We have to move from this individual flair to a systemic approach to our businesses. This is where your role becomes very important. And we must understand, even today, I don't know in Kerala what they're called, but in Tamil Nadu, even today, district administrators are referred to as collectors. This is a hangover from the British era, when the only duty of the administrator was to collect tax. Sometimes 80% tax out of agriculture. 80% of the grain that was grown was taken as tax and exported to another country. So, when collectors came, people ran into the hills just to avoid the tax. And whoever managed, and those who did not pay tax hung from the trees. So those who managed not to pay the tax was always a hero in the village. One or two of them who managed not to pay the tax, who managed to deceive the collector and escape tax, was admired by the entire society. Oh, this guy is really smart, he didn't pay the tax. This hangover is still with us. Even now, a lot of people think if I don't pay the tax, I'm very smart. Now, your role to bring compliance to the corporate sector, to the businesses, I think it's no more the corporate sector. Any business, 5 crores is a very easy target, almost even the local grocery store goes to that. So almost everybody needs to have a company secretary. He's looking at the success of the profession. I'm looking at the success of the nation. Now, the fundamental duty is to bring integrity into the systems, business systems in the country, so that running business is not some kind of daily circus, which is what it is right now. If you have to run business, you have to manage so many people in so many different ways. Your business, your profession is about making this circus into an orderly exercise, so that people can run businesses if they just know the fundamental rules. They don't have to be some kind of circus geniuses to manage 1,000 people in 1,000 different ways and 100 departments in 100 different ways. That there is a law and it is enforceable law and it has to be complied with. Integrity. Integrity is I've been meeting a whole lot of people. It's not that people were asking me, Sadhguru, why has India become so corrupt? I said, there's no corruption in India. Corruption means that you want a favor, you want to curry favor from somebody, so under the table you do something. That's not how it's happening. Somebody is demanding, this is the percentage, this is mandatory, this is not corruption. Hello? This is dacoity. If you don't pay, they're going to punish you. This is not corruption. So to change the system into a place which works smoothly, if those who are complying by the rules are not tortured on a daily basis, to bring this, you as company secretaries have a very significant role to bring that sense of integrity, that those who are willing to follow the rules, for them there is no harassment, but those who don't follow the rules have to pay the price in some way. But we have set up a culture, because we have been an occupied nation for so long. For so long we have been an occupied nation, we've always been thinking how to escape the rules. For generations, we have trained ourselves how to somehow manage to escape the rules. So when I meet a lot of business people, they are not corrupt, they're just innocent of integrity. They have no such idea what it is to have integrity. You okay if I make a joke about you? You're so serious, huh? He was clapping, your profession is doing great right now, you shouldn't be so serious. This happened. I'll change the profession a bit. You can make your own conclusions. A lawyer did some service to an old lady who was blind of vision. And then she asked, what's the fee? He said, 2,000 rupees. Then the lady put her hand in her wallet and pulled out 2,000 rupees and gave it to him. He thanked her. And when he took it, he did this, then he found there were 2 notes of 2,000 rupees. She was blind and she gave this. Then he had a moral dilemma. He struggled within himself. What to do with this 2 notes? Should I tell my partner or not? You're not getting anything. The question is not whether to return this to her or not. Should I tell my partner whether I got the 2,000 rupee extra note? That's a problem. So, having been an occupied nation for so long, grab what you can, and when rules come, just hide. This has been our mode for some time. But we need to understand now this is our nation. We have to build this the way we want it, and this must be made in such a way for future generations. It should be easy and effortless to start businesses, run businesses and prosper in this country. So for that, everybody has to follow rules. You will see Kerala roads are famous for this. Most drivers do not know which side of the road they must drive. So what is a 10-minute journey may become a 30-minute journey, but we are such driving geniuses that we somehow find our way. Our business is also going like this, somehow we have to find our way. So, in a way, company secretaries are the traffic policemen who will gently enforce so that everybody drives on the left side of the street and we get to our destinations with ease and without risk. That is the important thing, that we will get there quickly, easily, without risking ourselves too much, without too much stress about just reaching a simple destination. Economic well-being is not such a complex thing. It is just survival, little extended survival. When every creature, a worm, an insect, a bird, an animal and a tree are able to survive with such a big brain, don't we know how to survive? We know how to survive, we're just complicating it too much. So, in many ways, your role is going to be very crucial in the unfolding of the economic possibility. It is inevitable that this will unfold. It is just that, will we make it easy for ourselves or will we make it difficult for ourselves? In this ease of making business happen in this country, you have a significant role. I hope all of you will strive to create that possibility for this nation so that entrepreneurship will not be an impossible circus, that it will be something that our future generations will take to effortlessly and see success. I said there are lots of questions, so I'm limiting myself to this. If you have any kind of question, please, let's get into that. Any kind of question. Yes, microphone.
Sadhguruji Pranam, with all efforts by leaders like you and Sent for creating the benefit for all section of society, not from today, from yesterday, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades earlier. But still we feel it is not reaching to the lowest pyramid. With all clear intention by some of you, so what do we take? That they are to be destined because of their prarabdha, with all intentions by the system, but still we are not reaching. It doesn't mean that we should not make efforts, but still somewhere it is lacking. So what should we call? That is the way the God has created this world. The disparity, if we can call in a plain and simple language, will always be there, and that is the way the world will move.
This is another hangover we have, that what used to be an active, living spiritual process, today largely lives just as jargon. Everybody knows these words: karma, maya, prarabdha, sanchita, mukti, moksha. These are common words in Indian lexicon. But it is not… these words are not uttered with the true meaning of what they are. Now you talked about prarabdha. Somebody is not doing well, is it his prarabdha? A nation is not doing well, is it its prarabdha? First of all, let's understand this. This prarabdha, sanchita and many other are secondary words. The basic word is karma. Karma means action. So when we say, suppose you are doing badly, and you say, no, you're not, I'm just saying. Suppose you're doing badly. Okay, let me say, suppose I'm doing badly. And if I say, oh, this is my karma, what this means is, this is my doing, my life. Karma means action, it's my action. My life is my making. This is the most dynamic way to exist. This is the only culture on the planet which taught you that your life is your making. There is nobody up there managing your life. This is what this culture has taught you always. It may be shocking for you, this is a godless culture if you don't know this. This is why we told you, your life is your karma. It is your making. Somebody else is not making it for you. Well, but there are so many gods. Yes, there are 33 million gods and goddesses. That happened when our population was 33 million. Since then, we have been little shy of creating gods. We know the technology of god making. How to create a god? We must understand this. Never there was an idea of the god in this country. All the people that you worship, your Ramas, your Krishnas, your Shiva, these are all people who walked this geography, isn't it, at some point? All of them had normal birth and they went through the entire drama of life. All the trials and tribulations that human beings go through and much more than anybody can imagine. If we… we will take Rama as example, because even today he is having real estate issues. Trouble. After 6,000 years, still you can't settle your simple real estate. Lot of trouble. If your house was in trouble for 6,000 years, you would suffer, isn't it? So, if you look at his life, born of fortune, born as a prince, grew up as a wonderful young man, highly trained, educated, gets married to a beautiful princess, all dreamlike. But then, for some political reason, without going into the details, he loses his kingdom, he has to take his young wife and live in the jungle. His brother, knowing the difficulty of living in the jungle, he also leaves his family and goes with him to support them. Living in the jungle, when I say, probably some of you who are looking dreamy-eyed, you're thinking about that Ramanand Sagar's Ramayana, where Ram, Sita are dancing and singing in the jungle. That's not how it is to live in the jungle. And his wife is not some tribal woman, she's a princess, not raised to live in a jungle. If, I'm telling the ladies, if we take you into a jungle for 3 months and leave you there, believe me, when you come out, we can't recognize you. That's how you will become. I know this well because for weeks on end, I've been in the jungles by myself, surviving in the jungle all by myself. When I came back into the town, people wouldn't recognize me. I would have become like that. The insect bites and the variety of things that the tropical forest will do to you. So living in the jungle is not some romantic affair. It's a punishment. A king and a young prince and his wife go and live in the… How can we… So he loses his kingdom and he's in the jungle. Then as if that was not enough, his wife gets kidnapped. Then they take her away to Sri Lanka. Since then it's been trouble, you know. And then from all the way from Ayodhya with his brother, he walks down. He's a king, he could have married another 4 wives and lived in Ayodhya, but he's not that kind. She matters to him. So he follows all the way, walks down full length, 2,500 kilometers to find his wife, fights a battle, burns down a beautiful city, kills a lot of people, loses one of his brothers, and his wife back and goes back. Just a little time he spends, the wife gets pregnant, then once again some political issue, he is forced to send his wife back into the jungle. Now no sonogram, he doesn't know whether she is bearing a boy or a girl. This is very important for a king. Having a son is very important in those days. Being a king, he has an empire to rule, but he does not know whether it's boy or girl or boys and girls. Then she goes in the jungle and delivers twins, 2 boys. And unknowingly, fights a battle, not knowing they are his sons. He fights a battle with his own sons and he almost killed them. Fortunately, somehow it didn't happen. If anything really horrible has to happen in anybody's life, we killed our own children, knowingly or unknowingly. Isn't this the worst thing that you can do in your life? He almost did it. And then Sita, his wife, dies in the jungle without ever seeing him. This is the story of Ram. You think it's a super success? Hello? If any one of these things happen to you, you will be a broken man. But we worship him because no matter what kind of drama happened, he stayed above it. He did not become an angry person, a bitter person, a hateful person. He did the best he could do for his people, for the citizenry of the time. He did his best. His administration reached such a height that when we were fighting for our independence in this country, in the freedom movement, Mahatma Gandhi went on idealizing this Ram Rajya. The best administered state is Ram Rajya. Once again we must create Ram Rajya. When all these tragedies after tragedies were happening in his life, he remained the greatest administrator that we can think of, and he remained absolutely equanimous and balanced. It is that we are worshipping. His life is a series of disasters, but we worship him because the man stayed above all that. So in this country, this is the only value that we kept as the highest thing. Because the highest thing in this country, in this culture, has always been mukti, moksha, which means freedom and liberation. God is not the highest thing, heaven is not the highest thing. Becoming free from the turmoils of life is the highest thing. This is why we worship these people not because they were super success. None of them were a super success in their life. Huge disasters happened in their life, isn't it? So, if a human being excels beyond what is considered normally human, then we called him a deva. Today is very appropriate. Some people refer to Tendulkar, Sachin Tendulkar, as a cricketing god. He's a cricketing god. Because he excelled beyond what we thought was possible for anybody. Now we say he is godlike. So our idea of a deva was never the god. It is just when human beings crossed limitations and excelled in a way that people could not imagine possible, then we said he is a deva. Otherwise we told you, your life is your karma, that means your life is your making. What life throws at you is not always determined by you. Life can throw all kinds of things at you, but what you make out of it is 100% yours, isn't it? Hello? Many cultures always looked up for solutions. This culture always thought sky. This Upperwala looking came much later from outside. It's an imported idea that there is some manager sitting up there managing everything. I'm asking you, is this planet round or flat in Thiruvananthapuram? Hello? Because in Bangalore… You're not on talking terms with me, what's the issue? It's a round planet and it's spinning. If you look up, inevitably you're looking up in the wrong direction, isn't it? I'm asking you, in this cosmos, in this limitless cosmos, we don't know where it begins, where it ends. Do you know which side is up? Is it marked somewhere, this side up? Huh? I don't see any Australians here. If you were in Australia, what do? How do you look up, huh? Like this? I'm asking you. So when you do not even know what is up, how the hell do you know who is up? So these ideas came from outside. Here, we told you, your life is your karma. The quality of your life, the experience of your life, how you experience this life is 100% yours. Whenever we saw a man demonstrating this, like Ram did, no matter what happened, he remained equanimous. Life threw disaster after disaster, he's a serial disaster. But unmoved by these disasters, he did the best that he could do as a man. Now we look up to him and worship him because he seems to be free. No matter what bouncer you throw at him, he seems to be free. So we worship him. In the same way, people have started worshipping Sachin Tendulkar because whatever kind of bouncer, he went on hitting centuries. It looked impossible at that time. Now we know many others could do it, but at that time it looked totally humanly impossible. So we did that. So we must understand this. If we are not doing well, the source is within us. If we are doing well, the source is within us. If we are not doing well right now, maybe we are just inefficient. The nation is not doing well right now. Maybe we are not sufficiently organized. That's what it is. Let us not give mystical and spiritual explanations for simple failures that we do in our life. It's very, very important.
Good afternoon,
Sat-
Guruji.
Yeah. Sadhguru Pranam, my question to you is that we understand governance administratively, we understand governance politically, but how to understand governance spiritually and how to connect that to corporate governance?
So, before we understand governance spiritually, First of all, let's clear the spirituality, what it means. Because words on the planet is spirituality. Because the moment you say spirituality, people are going off into all kinds of hallucinatory stuff which has nothing to do with reality. Let me put this very technically for you. Technically, because technology is one thing that you cannot distort too much. Philosophy, poetry, music, myth, scripture, all these things can be hugely manipulated, isn't it? Technicalities are difficult to manipulate. If you manipulate, it doesn't work. It's as simple as that. So I will put this technically. Right now, your experience of life, how do you know that you're here right now? You know that you're here right now only because you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste, and you can touch. Because of the sense organs. If these sense organs did not work for a moment, suddenly you will have no experience of what's around you. Let us say you just dozed off. That's not an instruction, I'm just saying. Let's say you dozed off. If you doze, some of your neighbors, they have no experience of me right now because they're little. First thing is I disappear, little more. Entire world disappears, little more. You also disappear, isn't it? Yes or no? See, the world is on full scale, I'm on, even you're on as a life, but in your experience it's all gone, simply because the five sense organs are not functioning for a little while. This is what sleep is. So if your sense perception is not there, you have no experience of life. What does sense organs mean? If the trekking people, if you can settle down, please, sir. In the very nature of things, your sense organs can perceive only that which is physical. Is it so? You can see what is physical. You hear what is physical. Everything that you experience, you smell, taste and touch only that which is physical. This light bulb for sure is physical. The light that is coming out of that, this is also physical. Hello? Some of you are rolling your eyeballs because you've heard of divine light. Let's settle this. Probably in your high school, you must have studied something about light, isn't it? Was that in your physics textbook or spiritual textbook? Huh? Hello? Oh, then it must be physical. So light is physical. And the electricity behind it is also physical. So everything that you experience here is physical in nature. Now when it comes to yourself, everything that's physical about you, you gathered from outside, isn't it? This body, were you born like this? Were you born like this? Oh, I would like to see your mother if you were born like this. Were you born like this? You were born like this. Now you became this. How? Apam. Now when it comes to yourself, when it comes to yourself, food that you've eaten, isn't it? Everything that's physical about you. So what you call as my body is essentially a heap of food. Or it's a piece of this planet. Were you born like this? If you get it now, were you born like this? Experientially, if you get it now, we say you are spiritual because you understood the physicality is an external accumulation. What you accumulate, you can claim it is mine, but it can't be you. Hello? Food that you've eaten, isn't it? So what you call as my body is essentially heap of food. They don't like something, they're pulling the phone. It's a piece of this skin. What you accumulate, you can say, it is mine. You cannot say it's me, isn't it so? Hello? Physicality is an external accumulation. If you start thinking the chair on which you're sitting is you right now, but it can't be you. You are a case, isn't it? Hello? Yes or no? As I'm speaking, suddenly I will pick up this glass and say, this is my glass. You can say, it is mine. You cannot say it's me. Sadhguru seems to have some problem. But everybody says he's wise. Let's listen some more. The chair on which you're sitting. After some time I say, this is me. Then you will say, let's go. Because if I say, this is me, you clearly know this is a psychological case. Yes or no? But this is happening to you every day. Food appears on your plate, you say, this is my food, you eat it, then you say, this is me. Case or no? Huh? Only thing is, your consolation is everybody is like this only. That's how it is in the asylum. Only the doctor looks crazy. Yes. Only the doctor looks crazy. All the other people look normal, isn't it? Tell me, if you think you are something that you are not, medically do you qualify? If you think I'm the television, do you qualify as a psychological case? Everybody is like this only. Yes or no? That's how it is in the asylum. So if you gather a piece of this planet, this is just soil that you walk upon, isn't it? Just look at the countless number of people who walked this planet before you and me. Where are they? They're all topsoil, isn't it? Tell me, this will also become topsoil. One day you will get it anyway from the maggots. But if you get it today, experientially if you realize what I have gathered is not me, then you have turned spiritual because something beyond physicality has come into your experience. Not as a thought, not as an emotion, not as an idea, but as a reality, as a living reality. You are experiencing yourself beyond your body and beyond your psychological structure and physiological structures. So that is being spiritual. So how do I look at governance spiritually? Please don't do that. Beyond physicality has come into your experience. Governance of a nation, not as an emotion, not as an idea, governance of a nation or a company, as a living reality, is essentially about governing men and material, human beings and material things, so that they all function properly, so that they all function to the best. With minimum input, maximum output is our goal all the time, isn't it? Yes? We want to put little and take more, that is our effort. In this effort, don't bring any spirituality, just sensible operation is all that's needed. Spiritual process is to elevate you. Now, the one who governs, the person who governs, or the people who govern, if they are little elevated, will they govern better? Of course they will. Definitely they will, isn't it? See, all compulsions, when I say compulsions, somebody wants to steal money, somebody wants to exploit somebody wants to do something else. This is all coming from variety of compulsions. And there are only two kinds of compulsions, physical and psychological, isn't it so? Hello? There are only two kinds of compulsions, physical and of course the iPhone and okay, physical, technological and psychological compulsions. All compulsions and all suffering comes in only two sources, physicality and mentality, isn't it so? So spirituality means you have created a space between your physicality and yourself. Your mentality and yourself. Your physiological structure and your psychological structure, you have managed to hold it with a little space. Suddenly, there is no fear of suffering, because there is no possibility of suffering.
And mentality, isn't it so? So
Once
spirituality,
there is no fear of suffering,
you have created a space between your physicality
lot of
and
management
yourself.
going on.
Your mentality and yourself.
Once there is no fear of suffering, only when there is no fear of suffering, will you operate in a way which is beyond limitations, which is which is beyond compulsions, which is beyond prejudice, because your identification with your body, with your identification with your psychological structure, with your mentality, this is what is making you super prejudiced, isn't it? This is my friend, this is my enemy, this I like, this I don't like, all this is a psychological structure, isn't it so? This is my brother, this is a stranger, this is all your physiological structure. Once there is a distance between you and your physiological structure and your psychological structure, you are totally unprejudiced. Would that make you good governance? Huh? This is the biggest problem, we are still suffering Dhritarashtra syndrome. You know, Dhritarashtra, at any cost my son, led to a very disastrous war. We are still continuing the same thing for a long time, so being in spiritual process create a better governance? Yes, but governance does not need spirituality. The one who governs must have spiritual process. At any cost, my son led to a very disastrous war. We are still continuing the same thing for a long time, so being in spiritual process…
Hello? Yeah, it's working now.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Guruji.
Where are you going?
I'm here.
Where is here?
Yeah. Welcome to our godson country. So, I'm Shobha. I'm not a CES. I'm a social entrepreneur from Kerala. So my question, I've got two questions. My question to you is, it's said that humans' needs and wants are unlimited. Good afternoon, Guruji. Needs and wants are unlimited. So how do we gauge success? Welcome to our godson country. Because it's like…
All right, don't explain the question. Do I look so dumb? Ask the question.
And my second question… I have two questions. What is success according to you?
Okay.
It's said that humans' needs and wants are unlimited.
Human needs and wants are unlimited. Not true.
So how do we gauge success?
Human needs are limited. Human wants, we can grow it as big as we want.
And my second question…
We can make it as big as we want. There's no
What is
limit to
success
want.
according to you?
This is one thing your education has done to you, that your wants are becoming human needs and wants. You must understand, it is the educated people on this planet who are really destroying this planet. The illiterate people are very eco-friendly, aren't they? See, I am uneducated. So, that your wants are becoming… It happened. You must understand. There is a gypsy. These days you don't see them anymore, the younger generation might not have seen. When we were growing up, we would always see gypsies, traveling people coming, nadodis they were called, who ran all around the country, all around the world literally. So a gypsy man is holding his son. You fool, if you don't learn some jugglery and some knife throwing and learn how to live, I will put you into your school and make you an educated man, you will suffer of endless want. Why this has happened is just this. See, this is the nature of being human. wherever you are right now, you want to be something more, isn't it?
Knife throwing.
Huh?
And learn.
If that something
how to
more
learn.
happens today, what?
I will put you into a school.
Something
make
more.
you an educated
If that
man
happens,
who will
what?
suffer of endless
Something more.
want.
So we can go on like this. Instead of going on like this, let's say I will make you,
Why
Shobha,
does this happen?
I will make you the queen of this planet.
This is the nature of being human.
Fulfill?
Wherever you are right now,
No.
you want to be something more. And knife throwing.
Others?
And learn.
If I make you the king or queen of this planet, are you settled?
Something more.
Some of you are looking at me hopefully. What makes you think I'll commit such a blunder?
On like this, instead of going on like this,
If I
let's
make
say
you
I
the
will
king
make
or
you-
queen of this planet,
Shobha, I will
you
make
will
you
look
the
at the
queen of
stars.
this planet.
If I give you one galaxy, you will look at the next galaxy. If I give you two galaxies, you will look at the next 100 galaxies, yes or no?
Others? If I make you the
Only
king or
because
queen of
people
this
are
planet,
looking like this, you just have a job,
some
all of
you
you.
are looking at me hopefully. What makes you think I'll commit such a blunder?
Yes or no? Because people are looking for continuous expansion. So when this is the case, I think it's time we look at this. How much expansion will settle you for good?
Next galaxy. If I give you two galaxies, you will look
Hello?
at the next 100 galaxies, yes or no?
10 galaxies, will you settle?
If I make you the only because people
I'm
are
asking you.
looking like this, you just have a job. all
No.
of you.
So how much expansion will settle you for good?
Commit such a blunder.
Limitless expansion, boundless expansion you're
People are
looking for.
looking for continuous expansion.
So if you're looking for infinite expansion, what a fabulous desire.
Time we look at this, how much
But
expansion will settle you
the
for
means that you're employing is miserable.
good? Hello, the next 100 galaxies.
If you want to expand infinitely, can you expand infinitely through physical means?
So how much expansion will settle you for good?
Because the fundamental of physicality, the very fundamental of physicality is a defined boundary.
What a fabulous desire.
Without a defined boundary, there is no physical nature.
Means that you're employing
Isn't it so?
is miserable.
No defined boundary, no physical nature. So defined boundary is the basis of physicality. But through physical means, if you want to get to the infinite, it's like running on a treadmill. You get exercise, but you don't get anywhere. This is what is happening to people. They get exercise, lot of things seems to happen, but nothing has happened as a human being. People, when I see in the most affluent nations on the planet, when I'm at very large business summits, all I see is billionaire beggars. Still the same mentality, everything same struggles, same frustrations. Only thing is you have billions in your bank or in the stock or wherever else. But the fundamental nature is just the same thing. Nothing has happened at a great ecological cost. Human experience has not changed. This is because you can never fulfill or satisfy the longing to expand limitlessly by installments. You're trying to approach infinity in installments. Can you ever get to infinite nature in installments? Can you ever get to infinite nature in installments? Is it possible?
You can
It will just be an endless run
fulfill or
and it will be a miserable run. So, how much expansion? Infinite expansion? Obviously, you are not going to do it physically, either through the body or through the mind or through the activity in the world. It can only be done if you touch something within you which is beyond physical nature. You become boundless because that is the nature of that which is beyond physical. Physicality is the dimension of boundaries. The non-physical is a boundless nature. So if something boundless or infinite needs to happen to you, you need to touch that which is boundless within you. If you have touched that, there is total fulfillment. Does it mean to say I won't do anything? No, now I'm not driven by anything, I will do whatever is needed. And if all of us were doing whatever is truly needed in this world, this would be a great place, isn't it? Huh? And if you make this a great place, this is success. If you make this also a great place, that is also success. Our idea of success is just this. Do you want your body to be pleasant? You must tell me. I'll bless you otherwise, those of you who don't say anything. Thank you very much.
Sadhguru Namaskaram. Sadhguru Namaskaram.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest of the day, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, has come to the venue. Ladies and gentlemen, with the presentment of the first certificate to the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, the Institute illuminated the hope for education amongst the daughters of matriarchs of the country. ICSI launched an initiative under the flagship of Shahid Ki Beti, wherein discontinuing the practice of presenting flower buckets and mementos. Sadhguruji, we are highly excited and enthusiastic. Thanks a lot. I'm sure that the words of wisdom has been highly educating and inspiring and an eye-opener for the participants. Let's sought to invest our emotions in building a true nation. Let's strive to bring a sense of integrity among the people of our country for the compliance of law in true spirit and letter. Thank you, Sadhguruji. Ladies and gentlemen, the chief guest of the day, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, is on the dais. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Check, hello, check. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I take it as my privilege and honor to stand before such an august audience. To stand open the intellectual doors to this mammoth event of the year, ladies and gentlemen, along with our chief guest of the day, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister, Government of Kerala, I invite to the dais Sri C.S. Shyam Agarwal, the President of the ICSI, C.S. Makaranth, the Vice President of ICSI, C.S. Ramasubramaniam C., Council Member ICSI and the Chairman of the Convention Organizing Subcommittee, C.S. Gopalakrishna Hedge, the Council Member, C.S. Ahlada Rao V., the Council Member, C.S. Dinesh C. Arora, the Secretary of ICSI, C.S. G.M. Ganapati, Chairman of SIRC of the ICSI, and C.S. Rakesh Rajan, Chairman of Trivandrum Chapter of ICSR of the ICSI. So, before we proceed further to hear the encouraging words of the dignitaries on the dais, now I invite C.S. Shyam Agarwal to present our chief guest, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, with the ICSI Angavastram. With a beautiful round of applause, let us all witness Now to take this event forward, I request C.S. Ramasubramanian C., the Council Member of ICSI and the Chairman of the Convention Organizing Subcommittee for the welcome address. Please, sir.
Very good afternoon, one and all. Most respected Chief Minister of Kerala, Comrade Sri Pinarayi Vijayan sir, my dear President Dr. Shyam Agarwal, my dear Sri Makarand Lele, Vice President of ICSI, my council colleagues on the dais, Dr. Gopal Krishna Hegde, Mr. Halad Rao, Chairman SARC Mr. Ganapati, Chairman Thiruvananthapuram Chapter, Mr. Rakesh Rajan, Mr. Jinesh Chandra Arora, Secretary ICSI, other dignitaries, respected council colleagues, past President of ICSI, past secretaries, present and past chairman of various chapters and regional councils, young and vibrant team of Thiruvananthapuram Managing Committee, student volunteers from Trivandrum and other Kerala chapters, respected invitees from various professional bodies, trade and commerce, resource persons from various technical sessions, my esteemed members of ICSI, my adorable students, ICSI officials present here, ladies and gentlemen, I extend a warm welcome to all of you to the Golden Jubilee Year 45th National Convention of Company Secretaries at Trivandrum, the state capital of Kerala, the God's own country. I once again give a hearty welcome to our Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, the man of action, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan sir. Please give him a very big round of applause. Our warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of the entire CS fraternity assembled here, and thanks for accepting our invitation and to preside over this 45th National Convention, the mother of all events of ICSI. In fact, it is a proud moment for me also to share the dais with you, sir. Friends, in fact, I had an opportunity to meet our Honorable Chief Minister exactly 1 year before, along with the past President and Trivandrum Managing Committee members. At that time, we are all at Trivandrum 1 day before and got an appointment of various ministers and planning to give representation to include company secretaries for various recognition under the state legislations like Labor Act, Cooperative Act, and next day, 2 minutes time has been given to meet the Honorable Chief Minister. First day we were there. At that particular moment, we got a news from CM office that he is going to visit Delhi next day and the appointment got cancelled. Then we were clueless, in fact, and made a request to his office for a 2-minute time on the same day. I believe all of you know how tough it is to get an appointment like that. But he was kind enough to meet all of us. And believe me, the time given was just 2 minutes. He was kind enough and he shared with us almost 15 minutes. And he himself started advising us to approach various ministers and Speaker of Assembly. And through his secretary, he helped us to reach his Council of Ministers more easily. That is the reason why I called him Man of the Auction. Sir, the representations given to your Council of Ministers are under consideration with different levels, and I'm sure fruitful results will emerge for the CS fraternity in the days to come. Friends, as you are aware, that recently the Institute has entered into the 50th golden years of its service to the nation, and it's worth to mention that we are all here to celebrate the Golden Jubilee Year 45th National Convention at a very apt time when our nation is also witnessing a golden era of reformation and transformation under the pledge of New India 2022. The era of New India 2022 is deeply focused to serve consolidated parameters of growth and development to the citizens with equality and equity. The facets of consolidated growth and development under New India 2022 is objectified under various initiatives of the present government, including digital and smart governments, administrative procedures and accountability, transparency, doubling of farmers' income, skill development, Swachh Bharat, consumer rights, environment protection, unified indirect taxation mechanism and alike. It is said that the combination of development and good governance is essential for the welfare and satisfaction of citizens. Therefore, good governance has been placed at priority in meticulously achieving the development objectives of Vision India 2022. This provides an extensive platform for the governance professionals like company secretaries to serve their proficiency in effectively shaping this vision through good governance. In the context of the focal role played by the company secretaries in serving the best practices of governance to the nation, the theme itself is remarkably significant for deliberating the role of professionals in national building and the Vision New India 2022 correspondingly. The National Convention under this theme would surely endorse the advanced understanding of its members, students, professionals, and participants in exploring opportunities and serving the highest standards of their professional commitment in shaping New India 2022 through the best practices of good governance at par. I am sure the various technical sessions scheduled under the related theme of New India and role of company secretaries in shaping this vision through good governance would serve as an apt intellectual platform for the participants to understand the development goals of New India 2022, along with the roadmap of the opportunities and responsibilities for company secretaries in aptly shaping the Vision New India 2022 through good governance. Once again, I warmly welcome to you all in this mammoth annual congregation of company secretaries, which is indeed going to be golden in the golden era of the Institute. Thank you all. Wishing you all a happy learning and joyful networking. Let me again meet you all in the valedictory. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite the attention of everyone present here over to the screen where the video of the motto song of ICSI will be played.
उम्मीद के अंबर में हम बन के खिले जो रोशनी, कह देंगे हम संसार को कोई लक्ष्य नामुमकिन नहीं। ज्ञान के और न्याय के हर राह को थामे हुए चल पड़े हैं झूम कर बस गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर। कंपनी सचिव कदमों की हर एक गूंज में बस जीत का एहसास हो, राष्ट्र प्रगति पथ पे हो और आत्मबल की आस हो। जब भी चले इस भाव से खुलते गए हैं रास्ते, आवाज हमने दिल से दी है गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर। हर उन्नति के रंग में हर भारतीय हाथ हो, उद्यम हो या उद्योग हो, हर ओर अपना साथ हो। जाना शिखर तक है हमें सच की कलाई थाम कर, हम जीत के सुर छेड़ेंगे गीत ये गाते हुए। सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर, सत्यम वद धर्मम चर।
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Fire symbolizes purity and sanctity. It eliminates the darkness of ignorance and brings in the light of wisdom, knowledge, and prosperity. Everyone, we are now moving on to the auspicious lamp lighting ceremony. To do the honor, I invite our chief guest of the day, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala. Please, sir. I also request the dignitaries on the dais to join him for the lamp lighting ceremony. Thank you, everyone. I now invite Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, for the inaugural address.
Brothers and sisters, I am very happy to note that the 45th National Convention of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India is being held in Kerala. To get associated with an August convention, which is being held after a gap of 32 years in Kerala, is of course my privilege. I understand that company secretaries are the torchbearers of company law and allied corporate laws. I am happy that professional governance is being given utmost importance by the ICSI. As you are aware, the present Kerala government is also moving ahead in a quick and transparent way in the matter of implementing various policy decisions for the betterment of the citizens in the times to come. It is against this background that I appreciate the professional and innovative approach with which you are proceeding. As this is a conference of company secretaries who indirectly indulge in the economic build-up of this nation, it is only proper to review the economic situation prevailing in our country. Despite the tall claims of the government, the growth rate of our economy has declined from 7.6% in 2015-16 to 7.1% in the 2016-17 fiscal year. The IMF has further reduced India's GDP growth forecast to 6.7% for 2017-18. There are even recent reports of over 100 leading companies in India resorting to layoffs in the past year. The Center for Monitoring Indian Economy has published studies that found that millions of jobs have been lost in India in 2017. In this year's first 4 months alone, we lost 1.5 million jobs according to them. What does it show? It only shows that the growth rate of our economy is steadily going down and that we are unable to protect existing jobs, let alone create new ones, even in the era of the policy of liberalization, which according to the central government is the path for the overall development of our country. It is a year since demonetization was introduced by the government. This move, as anticipated by the left, has had disastrous consequences on the economy and imposed heavy burdens on the vast majority of our people. None of the declared objectives of demonetization has been achieved. With almost all of the demonetized currency returning to the banking system, black money has been converted into white money without penalizing a single offender. Counterfeit currency has been legalized. The unorganized sector of our economy that contributes more than a third of our GDP and provides 60% of the total employment in the country has been shattered. The drastic reduction in MNREGA allocations, the virtual collapse of the public distribution system, and the imposition of Aadhaar card conditionality are depriving the most marginalized and vulnerable sections of our people. The policy of globalization and liberalization has resulted in substantial slowdown of economic activities in all the three vital sectors: agriculture, industry, and services. The consequences has been a severe shoot-up of unemployment and further compounding of agrarian distress. All this proves that the policies of government are aimed at serving the interests of global and domestic corporates at the cost of the common man. Imposing of GST has wrecked small-scale production and resulted in further stagnation in the economy. The GST has adversely impacted the common people at large, particularly the workers in the unorganized sectors, people engaged in small and decentralized manufacturing, and small traders. Even the insurance premium is not spared from high tax rate. Normal activities in many of these sectors have been affected, leading to massive job losses. The GST regime has also resulted in enormously higher burden of taxation on many essential commodities, including medicines, making them costlier. The GST regime is severely undermining the federal structure of the Constitution, ultimately abrogating substantially the taxation-related rights of the state governments. It makes the state governments more dependent on the center in respect of resource generation and management. This is going to have serious adverse impact on the democratic setup, owing to greater concentration of resources and powers with the central government, promoting authoritarian trends. It will further erode whatever federal spirit we have in our center-state relations. There are a series of problems arising from the GST. For a number of commodities, the GST rates now fixed are lower than the combined existing rate of central and state taxes. It is estimated that there will be a revenue loss of at least rupees 1 lakh crore for the center and state governments. This will be a bonanza for the corporate who are not willing to pass on the benefit of the reduced rates to consumers. The already heavy burden on indirect tax on common people should not be allowed to cross the pre-GST levels. Instead, it must be lowered substantially on all essential commodities, and it should be zero on all essential medicines. GST regime warrants a thorough review and reconsideration. The center is not prepared to effectively use the anti-profiteering clause in the GST law. This clause was meant to ensure that the reduction in the rate of tax arising due to introduction of GST shall be passed on to the consumers by the commensurate reduction in prices. The center has not yet framed the rules under the anti-profiteering clauses. What the central government should do is that they should publish a detailed list of commodity prices under the existing combined tax and under the GST and intervene to see that the MRP is reduced. The GST rate is going to affect the small industry as a whole. Yes, they will have to pay full tax for units above rupees 75 lakhs turnover. Earlier, they were exempted for all units below rupees 1.5 crore. The way in which it is being implemented is detrimental to our economy as a whole. So the union government should re-examine the whole gamut of the GST problems and come out with the solutions that would usher in prosperity in industry, business, and the economy as a whole. As company secretaries, you should keep these factors in mind while formulating policies and programs of your establishments. At a time when global corporates eat into the vitals of our economy and seek to take over indigenous establishments, you should be cautious in advising your boards on the ways in which these challenges can be met. In 50 years' time, ICSI has trained its members to perform multifaceted, complex, and essential roles in any type of organization. It has also been instrumental in changing the traditional role of company secretary from providing support to board of directors and managing administrative efforts to that of key managerial personnel. Our government is positive about easing regulatory hurdles and is obliged to implement ease of doing business in as much areas as possible. We are aware of the fact that simplification of the procedure is a prerequisite for the flourishing and diversification of business in every field. In Kerala, it is being done on a war footing. It is starting yielding results too. NRI businessmen have increasingly started launching new ventures in Kerala, where ICSI can play a vital role in helping them to incorporate and administer the corporate matters. Utmost importance has to be given to the matter of governance, as quick decisions and proper implementation of the directives of board meetings are required for creating a business-friendly atmosphere. Here, company secretaries have a significant role to play. I also understand that the convention will deliberate on GST laws, insolvency code, etc. I hope you will be able to come up with original and sustainable solutions to the problems relating to these areas. The suggestions that you formulate will go a long way in creating a conducive atmosphere in which even the national government can tide over the crisis that they confront from various quarters of business and finance. I understand that experts from different fields will address the gathering in detail. I hope that the expertise of the eminent company secretaries will also help the companies and the public to navigate through the GST transition period towards the new tax regime and after. The rising problem relating to the NPA can be addressed by the insolvency professionals, and I understand most of the company secretaries are now getting into this field too. As company secretaries are getting into more and more areas, it goes without saying that you should conduct yourself in a highly responsible manner. The Induction of Companies Act 2013 created much confusion and chaos in the day-to-day transaction of companies in the initial days. But the timely intervention, advice and input of company secretaries helped the government to weed out the unneeded provisions and to make the act more business-friendly. I wish the convention and ICSI all the very best, and I assure you that the government of Kerala will extend all the support for the full blossoming of your profession. Wish your profession will scale newer heights in the coming years, and I hereby declare that the convention is formally inaugurated. Thank you very much.
you, sir. We're now moving on to the release of the National Convention souvenir. May I now request C.S. Rakesh Rajan, Chairman of Trivandrum Chapter of ICSI, to come to arrange the release of the souvenir. Please, sir. The foundation of New India 2022 is grounded with various parameters, including, among others, in sustainable governance. Company secretaries, as thought leaders in the arena of governance, are committed in shaping New India through good governance. To commemorate 45th National Convention of Company Secretaries with the theme Company Secretary Shaping New India 2022 Through Good Governance, the Institute has brought out a souvenir containing theme articles, messages of towering personalities, list of delegates, sponsors and advertisements. Now the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, has released the National Convention souvenir. Thank you so much, sir. Now again we proceed to the release of the ICSI syllabus. For this I request C.S. Ramasubramaniam, the Chairman of Syllabus Review Board, also the Chairman of Subcommittee of National Conference, also the Council Member of ICSI, to arrange for the release of the syllabus. I call upon the stage also, I request the presence of C.S. Pavan Kumar Vijay, the past President of ICSI, to arrange for the release of the syllabus. The today's icon of competitive business environment, professional qualification have gained mammoth significance in professional course, which brings the gulf between theory and practice, and that throws ample light on vital facets of the course plays and an important role in building the career of a student. Here, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala releases the ICSI syllabus. And now we are moving on to the best award distribution of the Best Regional Council Award. The Best Regional Council Award was instituted in the year 2005 to recognize the contribution and the efforts made by the Regional Council in the development of the profession. The various directories in the headquarters evaluated the activities performed by all the regional councils during the calendar year 2016 in all the spheres, and accordingly, the Northern Indian Regional Council has been adjusted as the Best Regional Council for the year 2016. I invite the Chairman of the NIRC for the year 2016, along with the office bearers, to come onto the dais to receive the award. To arrange the release, I invite C.S. Alka Kapoor, the CEO of Insolvency Professional Agency, and I request the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala to give away the Best Regional Council Award. Everybody, with a huge round of applause, let us congratulate and welcome the winners onto the stage. Congratulations once again, team NIRC. Thank you, everyone. Let us now felicitate our chief guest with a certificate of Shaheed Ki Beti. Shaheed Ki Beti, or Martyr's Daughter, is an initiative of the Institute for the Education of the Daughters of the Martyrs, who valiantly fought to protect the sovereignty of the nation till their last breath. May I request C.S. Shyam Agarwal, the President of ICS, to present the certificate of Shaheed Ki Beti to Sri Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. May I now request CS Dinesh C. Arora, the Secretary of ICSI, to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
The Honorable Chief Guest, the special guests, valued experts on dais, for leading President and Vice President, Council members, our most valued invited guests, members, students, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that the opening session of this 45th National Convention, with the words of wisdom by our Honorable Chief Guest, the other dignitaries, the council members, must have been encouraging for all of you to learn and analyze the various facets of the role of good governance in the attainment of New India 2022, as well as the role of company secretaries in upholding the premier standards of good governance must have energized you to place the intellectual segments forward. It's my pleasure to propose a vote of thanks on this very special occasion. Before proposing thanks to our esteemed speakers, I would like to give you a very brief snapshot of Vision New India 2022 and how company secretaries as the governance professionals are vital in shaping New India 2022 through good governance. Friends, as you all are aware that on the 75th anniversary of the Quit India movement, our beloved Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji urged citizens to create a new India by 2022 by freeing the country from poverty, corruption, dirt, terrorism, casteism, and communalism. To fulfill this vision of a new India, it's important that all stakeholders come together and support the government's effort on eradicating these evils. To this effect, the role of the corporate sector is very critical. And this gets accentuated by the fact that corporates hold significant sway on quality resources in the form of manpower, assets, technology, etc. Enterprises today need to think out of the box and start to embed the idea of social good as part of its strategy. The idea is to move beyond philanthropy, CSR investments, and making social good as part of its business model. Apart from this, an efficient scale of compliances in the corporate creates a transparent and accountable corporate culture in the nation, which leads to a win-win situation for the company and the community as a whole. This confirms when the subtle set governance and compliance is directly proportionate to the growth of the economy and the nation as a whole. On the same platform, professional excellence served by the company secretaries as the governance professionals is directly proportionate to the premier culture of good governance. In this backdrop, the Institute themed up its 45th convention for deliberating the role of company secretaries in shaping New India 2022 through good governance. This would surely serve an extensive platform for the exchange of ideas, facts and information on Vision New India 2022, along with the role of professionals in effectively shaping this vision through good governance. Now, in continuing my solemn duty of acknowledging the support of various stakeholders for the prosperous grace of this convention, we express our sincere thanks and gratefulness to the very Honorable Pinarayi Vijayan, the Honorable Chief Minister, the Government of Kerala, for sparing his valuable time to be the chief guest of this program and for his words of wisdom. Sir, many thanks to you for sparing the time and coming here. A big round of applause. We also express our sincere thanks to Shri Sadhguruji, who really spared very, very valuable time, came here and bestowed his blessings on all of us. We all should have a very big round of applause in his honor. We wish to place on record our sincere gratitude to the learned speakers who are present here to address the participants of this convention. I wish to place on record my sincere thanks to CS Dr. Shyam Agarwal, President, CS Makarand Lilleji, the Vice President, and the Council members for guiding us in organization of this gala event. I also express my sincere thanks to CS Ramasubramaniamji, the Council member and Chairman National Convention Organizing Subcommittee, the other organizers, the program coordinator also, who is also present with us. My sincere thanks and appreciation to all the officials of Team ICSI, both from the region and also from the head office, for making this convention a very grand success. My thanks to all sponsors and advertisers for their support in more than one way, and especially to certain sponsors who have contributed significantly in this organizing event. I just name a few of them. The key co-sponsors are Diligent and Carvi, Ashok Leland, Just Technologies Private Limited, Muthoot, Reliance Industries Limited, Tele, New India Assurance, Maruti Suzuki, NSDL, ONGC, SAP Partners, IOC, Turbo Panopel, Corporate Professionals, BSC, Alpha Plus, eMinds, Gale, Honda Cars, Inkle, Kerala Institute of Medical Sciences, Kerala State Industrial Development Corporation Limited, Kerala Tourism Development Corporation, Lakshmi Vilas Bank, Lulu Forex. Apart from this, there are certain sponsors who have put in their stalls here. I would like to name the key stallers amongst them. Exer Digital Services, Vakils Premedia, Let's Care Global Consultants, Alpha Plus Technologies, Business Doctor, Comply Karo Services Private Limited, Honda Cars, CSBF, the Company Secretary's Benevolent Fund. Friends, maybe many of the young members might not have got registered for CSBF. They should not have taken by now the membership of that. I humbly request them, please join in, take the membership. The stall is here, the opportunity is here. I request all of you, whosoever has not taken yet the membership, please do go to these stalls and make sure that you become the member of that. There are ICSI publications on the stalls. A big round of applause again for the Chief Minister. Thank you so much. Thanks to you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have here with us our keynote speaker, Dr. B.K. Modi, the founder chairman of Smart Group. I extend a warm welcome to him and I invite him onto the stage. With a huge round of applause, please welcome Dr. B.K. Modi, the founder chairman of Smart Group, onto the stage. Hello, check. We are extremely honored to have you here, sir. Now, I would like to request CS. Let me now request CS Shyam Agarwal, the President of ICSI, to honor Dr. B.K. Modi with the ICSI Angavastram. I now invite CS Makarand Lele, the Vice President of ICSI, for the theme introduction.
Honorable Chief Guest, President of ICSI, Shyam Agarwal, my colleagues on the dais of the council members, past presidents, my professional colleagues, delegates, and my dear students, ladies and gentlemen, ellarikkum swagatam cheyunnum. Warm welcome to all of you. I am indeed privileged to present before you the theme of this 45th National Convention of the Company Secretaries. Friends, as you all know, India is transforming at a high pace while registering its inclusive progress in the global front. And further, to strengthen the prospects of the inclusive growth and development of the nation, recently our Honorable Prime Minister has announced the vision of building New India 2022, which would be free of caste, religion or any kind of differences or corruption or terrorism, and wherever all Indians would have access to the opportunities as equal pedestal. The key probably to new building India is now transforming from chalta hai approach to badal sakta hai approach, and that is what is the key. The vision of the new India is just not restricted to the development of the goals. The new India is now about Shanti, Ekta and Sadbhavana. Therefore, entire Team India is now, including the company secretaries, and now have been called to come together, build a new India under the vibrant and integrated perspective of good governance. In order to stand shoulder to shoulder with the premium practices of good governance towards achieving the development of the goals of New India 2022, the role of company secretary is therefore very, very significant. And in order to keep continuing with our 5 decades old practice of going hand in hand with the governance in building the nation towards well-being of all its matters, of immense pride for me to present before you the prologue of unparalleled theme of the 45th National Convention, that is Company Secretary Shaping New India 2022 through Good Governance at this Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. As you know, this vision New India 2022 aims to bring many changes in the country for the betterment of country's economic, citizens, society, governance, security, and all other verticals. And for this positive transformation, this movement has been started to draw urgent need in Indian citizens to reform and transform. In this context, we are witnessing huge kind of the groundbreaking reforms like doing business in India, GST, RERA, IBC, NCLT, labor law reforms, and other social law reforms. Governance is always a key factor for the company secretary's fraternity, and in the nation's progress, the company secretaries as qualified and trained professionals, governance professionals, would definitely play a very, very vital role. This confers that the very fact that if good governance is a paramount for emergent and bring future to the nation at the global platform, then company secretaries as governance professionals craft the successful tale of good governance in the nation and ensure effective implementation of the government initiatives for sustaining a governance-oriented society. Keeping the sanctity of the role of company secretaries in shaping New India through the best practices of good governance, at the conversation is focused in endorse the advanced understanding of its members, students and professionals and the delegates present here. Along with the themes, the various contemporary trend making embarking directly upon the role of company secretaries has also been introduced in this particular national convention. And in order to guide us, we have all the dignitaries lined up who are the expert in their and eminent in their particular fields. This entire National Convention of Company Secretaries is indeed a reflection of augmenting the understanding and advancing the expertise of the professionals in shaping New India 2022 through good governance. I am sure you will enjoy the deliberations during these 3 days. I convey my best wishes to all of you. Ellarokkum Nanni. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let me now invite C.S. Shyam Agarwal, the President of ICSI, for the presidential address. Please, sir. I will check. It is my immense pleasure to invite Dr. B.K. Modi, the founder, chairman of Smart Group, for the keynote address. Please, sir.
Good evening, friends. I congratulate you at the start that you have at least desire to become a global leader. To become a global leader is not an easy task. First, you have to understand what is happening in the globe. Never before in the history of mankind, disruptions are taking place, which is changing the way the governments are working, the industry is working, the professionals need to align themselves, and even the religious leaders need to work. In this disruptive age, you as company secretaries have a big challenge to be able to survive your jobs, as you will be challenged with so much changes that unless you are able to do that with the help of new technologies, you will find yourself lagging behind. For the last many years, I have been staying in Singapore. Singapore is one country which focuses on corporate governance before any country. And within a very short span of 50 years of independence, has today become a country which is admired for corporate governance. The corporate governance has to align itself with what they are going to govern. The biggest disruption is coming through the technology. Today, many industries which you see, which are leading in their field, may not even be there in the coming years. We have seen the disruption which happened in the field of telecom. A new company came in and disrupted the whole industry, which was moving from a voice to data. And this happened because they came with also a change in the accounting practice where they could capitalize virtually 5 years of losses, huge losses, so that they were not able to show losses in the balance sheet. In fact, while on one side they were making losses, they were able to declare heavy dividends. And they lost more than 3 lakh crores in terms of bringing the new technology of digital telephony. They gained more than 4 lakh crores in their share market. So this corporate governance and this way you manage things also reflects in how people see you. The job of business is to create wealth. Create wealth for the shareholders, create wealth for the employees, create wealth for the society, create wealth in general. In a global situation, this wealth creation is becoming huge. And at present, in every field there is a major disruption going to take place. Let me cover two fields for you. The one field is in the field of automobile. The automobile industry is one of the largest industries in the world. But in the coming years, there will be a major disruption taking place. From the concept of the selling the car, you will be moving where this industry will become a service industry, and the car will be delivered to you on the basis of cost per kilometer. So no longer in future, people will own cars. There will be a fleet of cars which you can access at your door as and when you want. Not only that, in future all cars will be electric, and as such will have zero pollution. Even all the charging stations which will be there will be also be able to charge themselves through solar energy. $15 billion, and today we know that WhatsApp has virtually taken over the emails and all the things which are doing in past and become a leading user for all of us. So these disruptions which are happening is something which you as professionals have to understand, because you have to align yourself to these new industries coming. I have been in all my life has been managing disruption. I started by bringing disruption in the office automation industry, where we started offering through Modi Xerox copy or documents on a per copy basis. So you don't have to buy the machine, you are charged on per copy basis. We brought disruption into telecom, where you are able to get calls again as you use. The other thing which is happening, which will affect all of us, is the disruption coming in the field of healthcare. People have now realized that we human beings are created with the help of cells, the stem cells and other cells. Till now, there was no understanding of what the human body works. Today, with this new understanding of cell technology for the life sciences, the whole way of treating your patients has changed. It's all become preventive. The future of hospitals, in my view, is not very bright, as people will be able to get their medicine, which is aligned to their body much before, and as such can prevent major operations or major diseases in their life. So this again, there is a very big disruption with the field of healthcare, which will greatly benefit India, because India has a very low record, both in the field of healthcare and in the field of automobile industry. We'll jump the technologies, and we will be able to bring our country ahead of others. And when India becomes a global leader, I think that's when your ambition to become global leader will be possible. So in this changing world, I think there is also need to be change in the field of politics. Politics is a very old institution. People are now realizing that politicians worldwide have also gathered together. People sometimes ask me, what is this New India? Where does this idea of New India come? Is it Mr. Narendra Modi's wave? Or is it something more than that? I think you are aware that most of the things which are being talked in New India, the digital India, the corruption-free India, the Swachh Bharat, and many, many more, is something which is already happened worldwide. There are countries which are cashless society. Narendra Modi ji has been a great fan of Singapore. In last 15 years, he has visited it many times. All his ministers goes there. 80% of what you hear in New India is something which has already happened in Singapore. Singapore is not only a smart city, now it's declared a smart nation. So a lot of benchmarking is done. The laws which are changing in the banking circle, the biggest disruption is coming, apart from technology, is how the banks used to operate in the past. Today, the banks are asked to go through a reform process. Previously, you used to take loans, and you are not afraid that your corporation will go away. In China, more than 300 chairmen of large corporations are behind bar. Major disruption has taken place in the companies who have taken loan, because they have defaulted or because they didn't plan it well. Because when you sign these documents for taking loans, you get into a situation where you feel that what you're signing is not going to happen. You give all sorts of guarantees. Today, what you have signed is coming in face of you. The companies are being not only liquidated, they are going through merger acquisitions, they are forced to sell, and this will again bring a major disruption in the society. So this new India is not going to be a simple task. The new India is going to be a task which will change the society in a big way. But new India can make India a global leader. I recently did a big program in Singapore called New India Emerging Global Leader. It was done with the Chamber of Commerce there. Sadhguru was also there. Sadhguruji was there on 15th August, 70 years of India's independence. And it was said that the hope of India to be a global leader lies in New India. But is our political system ready for it? Is our people are ready for it? I was hearing some murmuring as I walked in. People are saying, maybe it's not good for the country. Maybe it's too early. Maybe it is something which the country will not accept. But let me tell you, we don't have choice. New India is not a choice. New India is something which we have to align ourselves. New India is something which we have to make sure that in this new India we will survive, our future family members will survive, our friends will survive, and the youth of India will be able to find its ways. So when you talk of New India, you must study it. You must study it deeply. You must study how it will affect your profession, your business, because Digital India is very much part of New India. And as company secretaries, I'm sure that a lot of you have digitized your way of working. But the people who have not, I think, find themselves in a great disadvantage in this New India. New India is also something which is the dream of the Prime Minister, because the Indian Prime Minister today does not want to be the leader of the country. He has the ambition to be the leader of the world. And the leader of the world, ambition is not only his. It has been an ambition for Indians for centuries. We have always said we are the Vishgurus. And as such, we have all born in that culture that someday it will come that we will be the leaders of the world. But to become leader, you require great sacrifices. Look at China. China has now, after great efforts, after great sacrifices, have developed an industry which is now able to compete worldwide. For many, many years, they were selling their goods even today 20 to 30% cheaper than the American goods to get the market share. But they became slowly the manufacturing base of the world. Major corporations of America shifted their manufacturing to China. And today, China, with their Belt and Road ambition, are saying that we can be the supplier, at least 50% supplier of all the goods and services to the humanity. And they are very much on their path. People are believing what they are saying now. But a lot of sacrifices. I know, I have been in China working for more than 25 years. A lot of sacrifice of corporate governance. Today, 15 lakh people in China are behind bar because they did not follow the right corporate governance which is there. China, which was known as a country of corruption, has suddenly changed their status as a country of good corporate governance. So, these changes are happening in the world. India has thrown its ring in the game. Today, India is already moved as the top 3 countries which are seen in future. All future projections shows that by 2050, in the world there are 3 countries which will remain in the leadership position, which is India, China and US. These 3 countries will be competing within themselves for the corporate governance, and they survive not only because they have good practices, but also because of sheer size of them. India today is creating the biggest thing, the most difficult thing, that what China could also not create, is to create smart human beings, to create professionals, to create people who can provide global corporate governance. They can go anywhere in the world and lead with their professionals there and make their mark there. So today the professional challenge is how you compete with the global people. And I don't know how many company secretaries are leading today the companies in the world, but we are known that in the field of technology, in the field of finance, of the 500 companies, more than 100 companies in US has either CEO or CFO coming from India. So this thing is already happening. I hope it will happen on the company secretaryship also. More and more company secretaries should take challenging position, not only in India, but in the world. So you have a very challenging task. And this will not work with the lethargy I see in this room. I don't see that energy which is required to bring that change. And I think it's a great job for your president and other members of the committee to bring that energy back into this profession. Because unless you're ready to change, you will not survive in this global competitiveness. Not only in India, but also outside. I was reading your main thing, Satyam Vad Dharam Char, but I think the translation is wrong. Satyam Vad, we all know the truth prevails. But law is not Dharam. Dharam is constant worldwide. The law changes from country to country. Law is made by the political people, the parliament of various countries. And sometimes they make bad laws. You will not survive much aware of this global competitiveness. And it is the duty of this institution to help in creating right laws. You don't have to follow the law. Main thing, follow law is done by people in general. But I think the translation you as an institute should create new laws. You should be able to benchmark. We all know the laws which are happening in the world. You should be in the front of changing the laws. Because the people who are making the laws are dependent on you. Because they have no idea of laws. They are politicians. Their job is to get votes, but their responsibility is to make laws. So their job is not aligned. And they can do this only with the help of professionals. So the Company Institute should take pride, and I hope in the next convention you are able to see how many laws you got changed. How many laws you got changed, which is aligning India to become global leader. How many laws you changed, which were able to make new India. Government does not make laws. Government has no knowledge of making laws. Government has no understanding of making laws. Government has no business to understand what are the laws. What government does is they benchmark. Because they have these bodies which are globally connected. So they benchmark what is happening in US, they benchmark what is happening in Singapore, they benchmark what is happening in China, in Germany, Japan, many countries. Because most of the time, the people in the center of lawmaking are traveling. And they get support from these countries because those countries want the law to be changed. They want New India to come up. So they are supported by them, and that's how they change the laws. But you, if you want to be a global leader, you should also know what are the laws in future in other countries. And you should benchmark them. So you could be ahead of them. Otherwise, I hear people saying, oh, we got surprised, this law got changed. And why you are surprised? This law was already existing in many countries. It was obvious that that will come to India because it is doing good work there. So if you connect yourself with the global company secretaries forum or wherever, that will help you to predict what the law is going to be changed. If you can't predict what the laws is going to be changed, I don't think you are doing justice to your profession. The same way in the industry, if you can't predict what the technologies are going to happen in future, and you say, I didn't know what happened, suddenly my industry is out, companies like Nokia and others got out, because they were not ready to change. There is no excuse anymore. There used to be survival of fittest. Nowadays it's called survival of smartest. The smart means that you know world situation, you know world laws, you know what trends are there. You are able to virtually predict what is going to be next 10 years, at least, if not more. And the people who are not able to do that, you are working with wrong bosses. You are working with wrong company because your future is dark, because that company future is dark. And if you align your future with the company's future, because some people here take great pride in working for 20 years in a company, 40 years in a company. But if the company does not exist, how does it matter how many years you have worked? So in this changing world, I think you should restructure your body. Don't make it like a yearly affair. There should be, you should know what, it should be a review affair, where you review the country's performance, not only your performance. And the country depends on what laws it works with. The new India requires a lot of new laws, and that's where your role will be there. You have to be very active on that and make sure that happens. I'm sure with a 50 years history behind you, your society is revered. When you say something, it will be heard. If you say it rightly with proper data, with a proper knowledge, you could be the leader in changing the laws for creating New India. And creating New India will create a new global leader. And India is a global leader. You have the chance to become global leaders yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. V.K. Modi, for your inspiring words. We're now moving on to the release of the IPC manual. To arrange the release, I invite C.S. Alka Kapoor, the CEO of Insolvency Professional Agency. Please, madam.
Ladies and gentlemen, the publication is divided into two parts. Part 1, inter alia, comprises of Report of Bankruptcy Law Reforms Committee, Parliamentary Standing Committee report, as well as the provisions of the Code, rules, regulations, notifications, circulars under the Code. Part 2 strives to equip readers with a ready reckoner covering inter alia, practical aspects of corporate insolvency resolutions, process including formats of notices, agenda of meeting of committee of creditors, formats of application before NCLT for initiating corporate insolvency resolution process.
Thank you. I now humbly request Dr. V.K. Modi to release the IPC manual. Everybody, with a huge round of applause, let us all witness this event. Thank you all. I would now like to request the President of ICSI, C.S. Shyam Agrawal, to present the certificate of Shahid Ki Beti to Dr. V.K. Modi. Thank you, everyone. With this, we declare that the opening plenary is closed. I would like to convey our sincere gratitude to the guests and dignitaries on the dais for sharing their insights and words of guidance and valuable time with all of us. Thank you. I request everyone present here to kindly stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे